Have you ever wondered how to be invisible in a crowd, to slip through life unnoticed, leaving no trace behind? Welcome to the world of the gray man. The gray man is not a superhero or a special agent. He is the epitome of unremarkable, the personification of blending in. This is not about hiding or running away. It's about moving with stealth and elegance in our everyday lives. The concept of the gray man has its roots in espionage and military tactics, but it's not just for spies and soldiers. It's for anyone who values their privacy and security, who wants to avoid being the focus of unwanted attention. Imagine yourself in a crowded street or a bustling city, thousands of people, each with their own stories, their own identities. Among them is the gray man, moving with the crowd but never standing out, never drawing attention. He might be the person next to you on the bus, the stranger you pass on the sidewalk, or the neighbor you see but never really notice. The gray man is not about becoming invisible, but about becoming forgettable. He's the face in the crowd that you forget as soon as you look away, the voice in the conversation that leaves no lasting impression. He is there and then he is gone, leaving no trace, no memory. But why would anyone want to be a gray man? There are many reasons. Some people value their privacy and want to guard it fiercely. Others might be in professions that require a high level of security or discretion. And some might simply find peace in the idea of moving through life unnoticed, of being a part of the world without being the center of it. In a world increasingly crowded and watched, the gray man moves unseen and unremembered, a ghost in the machine. The gray man's power lies not in his wardrobe, but in his mind. It's a mindset of blending in, of becoming part of the background. This mindset is built on three pillars: situational awareness, adaptability, and emotional control. Situational awareness is the art of observing your surroundings without appearing paranoid. It's about being conscious of your environment, picking up on details that others might miss, and making smart decisions based on those observations. Like a chameleon, you blend into the environment, unnoticed but always alert. Adaptability is the second pillar. Just as a chameleon changes its color to match its environment, a gray man adjusts his behavior and appearance to fit different situations. Whether you're in a bustling city or a quiet suburb, you should be able to blend in effortlessly. The key is to be unremarkable, to be just another face in the crowd. Lastly, emotional control. Staying calm and composed in stressful situations is crucial. Panic and fear are attention grabbers, and the gray man avoids attention at all costs. So even when the unexpected happens, you remain cool, collected, and in control. Becoming a gray man starts in the mind. Once you master the mindset, the rest will follow. It's not about being invisible, but being forgettable. In a world where everyone wants to stand out, the gray man chooses to blend in. Because sometimes the best way to be safe is to be unnoticed. The gray man's appearance is his camouflage. He is unremarkable, indistinguishable from the crowd. This isn't about looking drab or erasing your personality. It's about choosing wisely when and where to reveal it. Now let's talk about clothing. The gray man's wardrobe isn't a fashion statement, it's a tool for blending in. Neutral colors are key. Think grays, blacks, whites, and muted blues. Anything that doesn't shout, "Look at me." This doesn't mean you should dress poorly. On the contrary, your clothes should be clean, well-fitted, and appropriate for the situation. A well-dressed gray man in a suit won't stand out in an office setting, just as a gray man in jeans and a t-shirt will blend into a casual crowd. Personal grooming is another aspect. The goal here is to be clean but unremarkable. Avoid distinctive hairstyles or flashy accessories. Keep your hair neatly trimmed and your face clean-shaven or evenly bearded. Tattoos and piercings? Keep them minimal or well hidden. Remember, our aim is not to be remembered. Body language, too, plays a crucial role. The gray man's movements are relaxed and confident. He doesn't slouch, nor does he strut. He doesn't fidget, but he's not unnaturally still either. He maintains a calm, composed demeanor that doesn't draw attention. He's just another person, going about his day. Lastly, consider your overall physical fitness. A gray man should be in good shape. Not because he needs to look like an action hero, but because physical fitness contributes to overall health, agility, and the ability to handle unexpected situations. It also helps in blending in. Obesity or extreme thinness can make you stand out in a crowd. Remember, the gray man's goal is not to be invisible, but to be forgettable. He doesn't need to disappear, he just needs to blend in. His strength lies in his ability to be unremarkable, to be just another face in the crowd. And in the eyes of the observer, the gray man is forgotten as soon as he's out of sight. The gray man moves with purpose, but not urgency. He is part of the crowd, not apart from it. This statement embodies the art of being a gray man. The way you move, behave, and interact with the world around you plays a crucial role in your ability to blend in seamlessly. Imagine yourself walking down a crowded street. You want to move with a sense of purpose, but not with urgency. When you walk too fast or appear rushed, you draw attention. If you stroll leisurely, you may be seen as a potential target. The key is to find a balance that makes your movement seem natural and unremarkable. Eye contact is another important aspect to consider. Avoiding eye contact might make you seem suspicious, while too much of it can make you memorable. The gray man's approach is to maintain a neutral gaze, not avoiding eye contact entirely, but not seeking it either. A fleeting glance is more than enough. Blending with the crowd is paramount. The gray man mimics the behavior of those around him. If everyone is standing, he stands. If everyone is walking, he walks. He doesn't try to swim against the current. Instead, he goes with the flow. He's like a chameleon, adapting to his surroundings to become a part of the background, unnoticed and unremembered. Another important aspect of being a gray man is unpredictability. Using public transportation and avoiding routines can make you less predictable. If you take the same route to work every day at the same time, you become a fixture, something that stands out. But if your movements are random and don't follow a predictable pattern, you become much harder to pin down. In essence, the gray man's movements are fluid and unremarkable, like a leaf carried on the stream of the crowd. He's there, he's moving, he's living his life, but he's doing it in a way that doesn't draw attention to himself. And that's the essence of being a gray man. The gray man speaks but leaves no echo. His words are forgettable, his voice a whisper lost in the crowd. The art of communication is a fundamental aspect of the gray man concept. It's not about being silent, rather. It's about knowing what to say, how to say it, and crucially, what not to say. The gray man's voice doesn't command attention. He speaks in a moderate tone, neither too loud nor too soft. Just another voice in the crowd. He avoids raising his voice or engaging in heated debates. After all, loud voices draw attention, and attention is the gray man's nemesis. Conversations are kept brief and to the point. There's no need for long-winded stories or captivating anecdotes. He doesn't aim to be the life of the party or the center of attention. His aim is to blend in, to be just another face in the crowd. When he speaks, his words are mundane, unremarkable, forgettable. Personal information is a precious commodity. The gray man knows this and guards his closely. He avoids sharing personal details with strangers. His life story is his own, not a tale to be told to anyone who asks. He's just another man, leading an ordinary life. Nothing to see here. Language is a powerful tool. The gray man employs nondescript language, steering clear of controversial topics that could ignite passions or create conflict. He doesn't express strong opinions or take sides in arguments. He's neutral, unassuming, just another voice in the crowd. Communication for the gray man isn't about making connections, it's about disconnection. It's about disappearing into the background, becoming part of the scenery. It's about being seen but not remembered, heard but not listened to. In conversation, the gray man is polite but forgettable, leaving no lasting impression. He's the man you spoke to but can't quite recall, the voice you heard but can't remember. He's the gray man, unforgettable by being forgettable. In our digital age, the gray man's invisibility extends to the online world. He leaves no digital footprint. His presence in the digital realm is as unremarkable as it is in the physical world. This is not to say that the gray man avoids technology. On the contrary, he uses it, but in a way that is cautious, secure, and untraceable. Let's think about social media. For many of us, it's become a daily routine, a way to stay connected. But for the gray man, social media is a potential minefield of personal information. So, he limits his use, or even better, doesn't use it at all. If he does, he makes sure to adjust privacy settings to keep his online profile as nondescript as possible. Communication is another aspect where the gray man employs caution. He uses secure methods of communication like encrypted messaging apps. These apps ensure that his conversations remain private and can't be intercepted or traced. His digital conversations are as brief and nondescript as his face-to-face interactions. He avoids sharing personal information and sticks to neutral, uncontroversial topics. Now, let's talk about digital payments. The convenience of credit cards and digital wallets is undeniable, but every transaction leaves a digital trail. So, the gray man prefers cash or uses prepaid cards that can't be traced back to him. Finally, the gray man is aware that his online activities can be monitored, so he uses a virtual private network, or VPN. A VPN masks his internet protocol address, making his online presence elusive and untraceable. So whether he's browsing the web, sending an email, or making a purchase, The gray man's digital presence is as elusive as his physical one. He's a master of blending in, not just in a crowd, but also in the vast, interconnected world of the internet. Online, the gray man is a ghost, his presence fleeting and untraceable. The gray man carries only what he needs, his possessions as unremarkable as he is. His everyday carry, or EDC, is a testament to practicality and preparedness, without any hint of the tactical or attention-grabbing. It's the art of having what you need when you need it, without anyone else being the wiser. First and foremost, the gray man's EDC consists of the basics: a wallet, phone, and keys. You won't find anything flashy or eye-catching here. The wallet is slim and unassuming, the phone is typically in a nondescript case, and the keys are kept to a minimum. Jangling and jingling kept to a bare minimum. A multi-tool is often part of the gray man's EDC. It's a compact, versatile item that can prove invaluable in a variety of situations. But remember, we're not talking about a bulky military-style tool here. Instead, think sleek and compact with just the essentials. In terms of self-defense, where legal and appropriate, the gray man might carry a concealed item for protection. But this isn't about being armed to the teeth. It's about having a discreet, effective means of defense that doesn't scream, "I'm prepared for a fight." And finally, the gray man carries emergency cash and a secondary form of identification. These are backups, plain and simple. If the credit card gets declined or the primary ID gets lost, there's a plan B. And like everything else in the gray man's EDC, they're carried in a way that doesn't draw attention. So that's the gray man's everyday carry in a nutshell. It's not about carrying the latest gadgets or showing off your survival gear. It's about practicality, preparedness, and most importantly, blending in. Remember, the goal is to be forgettable, to move through the world unnoticed, and every item in the gray man's EDC is chosen with that goal in mind. The gray man's EDC is practical and unassuming, reflecting his philosophy of blending in. Whether on foot or behind the wheel, the gray man moves through the world unnoticed. The art of travel and transportation as a gray man is all about blending in, leaving no lasting impression, and refraining from drawing attention to oneself. When it comes to vehicles, think common, think ordinary. A gray man's car isn't an eye-catching, custom-made machine. It's the car you pass by without a second glance, the one that doesn't stick out in a line of parked vehicles. Public transportation is another arena where the gray man excels. The crowd offers a natural camouflage, a sea of faces where one more doesn't stand out. Mimic the behavior of other commuters. If they're reading, pull out a book. If they're looking at their phones, do the same. The goal is not to be the one who stands out, but the one who fits right in. Parking is another aspect to consider. A gray man avoids secluded spots, choosing instead to park in well-populated areas. This reduces the chance of the vehicle being singled out or remembered. It's another car and a lot full of them, another piece of the urban landscape. Keeping a low profile extends to unfamiliar areas as well. When traveling to new places, a gray man does his homework. He learns the local customs and behaviors, takes note of the dress code, and adjusts accordingly. He's not the tourist sticking out like a sore thumb, but the visitor who could easily be mistaken for a local. Remember that the gray man's journey isn't about speed or style. It's about moving through the world as though you're part of the background, leaving no trace of your passage. It's about being forgettable in the best possible way. On the road, the gray man is just another traveler, his journey unnoticed and unremembered. Even at home, the gray man remains a shadow, his life an unopened book to his neighbors. The art of blending in doesn't stop at the doorstep. It extends to the living space, creating an environment that is as unassuming as the gray man himself. Consider the exterior of your home. It should be as ordinary as the houses around it, free of flashy decorations or political signs that might draw attention or spark controversy. The gray man's home doesn't stand out. It fits in, blending seamlessly into the neighborhood like a chameleon in its natural habitat. Friendliness goes a long way in maintaining a gray persona. Get to know your neighbors, but do it casually. Engage in small talk, discuss the weather or local news, but avoid divulging personal information. The gray man is seen as friendly but forgettable, leaving no lasting impression that would cause others to pry. While at home, practice what's known as operational security, or OPSEC. This is a strategy used by the military to prevent information from falling into the wrong hands. In the gray man's world, it means not discussing your plans, routines, or preparations openly. It's about keeping your cards close to your chest, so to speak. Remember, the goal isn't to become a ghost in your own home, but rather to create an environment that doesn't invite curiosity or scrutiny. Use blinds and curtains to keep prying eyes out. The less visible your life is to the outside world, the less likely you are to attract unwanted attention. But don't let the pursuit of invisibility make your home a fortress. It's all about balance. Maintain the appearance of an ordinary home while keeping your private life private. You're not hiding, you're simply choosing not to broadcast your life. At home, the gray man is a friendly but forgettable neighbor, his life a mystery hidden in plain sight. The key is to be present without being noticeable, to live among others while remaining a silhouette, a shadow, a gray man. Like any concept, the gray man is surrounded by myths and misconceptions. Let's dispel a few of them. First off, being a gray man doesn't mean you're antisocial or a paranoid survivalist. It's about moving through the world unnoticed, not avoiding it entirely. It's about finding peace in anonymity, not fear. Secondly, the gray man is not about deception or duplicity. It's not about pretending to be someone else, but rather about being the most unobtrusive version of yourself. It's about minimizing your footprint in the world, not erasing it. Another misconception is that the gray man is always in survival mode. This couldn't be further from the truth. The gray man approach is as applicable in day-to-day life as it is in extraordinary situations. It's about adaptability, not constant vigilance. Finally, the gray man is not a role you play, but a mindset you adopt. It's not about putting on a performance for others, but about understanding your environment and adapting to it. It's not a costume you put on, but a philosophy you live by. Remember, being a gray man is about finding a balance. It's not about taking it to extremes, but about being mindful of your presence and how it affects your interactions with the world around you. The gray man is not a social outcast or a paranoid survivalist, but a master of blending in, of becoming unremarkable to become unforgettable. The gray man is not a superhero or a secret agent. He's an ordinary person with an extraordinary skill, the art of blending in. Over the last 20 minutes, we've explored the mindset, physical appearance, behavior, and digital presence that embody the gray man. We've discussed practical everyday carry, how to navigate travel and transportation, and maintaining a low-profile home. We've also debunked some common myths and misconceptions. Being a gray man is about prioritizing personal security and privacy. But remember, it's a choice, not a requirement. It's a way of moving through the world with minimal disturbance, like a quiet ripple in a vast ocean. It's about finding a balance between blending in and living your life authentically. Remember, the best way to become unforgettable is to be completely forgettable. Until next time, stay safe, stay aware, and stay gray.